This is Science 8 2017-2018 recording. We will be reading the article called Icelandic Fault. You will need two things in front of you. The first thing that you will need to have is a copy of this article. If you do not have a copy of this article, it is in the book on page 116. The second thing that you will need is this paper that is called Unit Summative Project on Earth's Dynamic Systems. Please put your name at the top of the page now, along with the hour that you have science. The goal of this summative is to show how geological processes have shaped your geologic feature or landform. You will get 2 class periods to complete this summative. On day 1, you will complete the graphic organizer below with information about your assigned geologic feature. You will do this by researching your geologic feature using reliable and reputable websites. This is due Friday at the start of class. So the first thing that you need to do on this worksheet is that you need to name your landform. I need you to write Icelandic fault in that. So while we are reading, the first piece of information that we need to look for is the location of this Icelandic fault. So let's start reading. We are often told that most of us will never really see plate tectonics. The slow pace of plate tectonics. Let's start reading. We are often told that most of us will never really see plate tectonics. The slow pace of plate movement compared with the average human lifespan makes it hard to perceive without deliberate measurements over many years, and much of the process is hidden deep beneath the Earth's surface. But there are a few special places where you can easily see the process with the unaided eye. One such place is in the far northern island country of Iceland. There are a few special places where you can see the process with the unaided eye. One such place is the far northern island country of Iceland. Iceland lies in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between North America and Europe. In fact, it sits right on the border between the North America and the Eurasia tectonic plates. Part of the island's land belongs to one plate, and part of the rest of it belongs to the other. So here's our first piece of key information. We have information on location. So the part where that is right here. Iceland lies in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between North America and Europe. That's your location. So right here in this blank next to the word that says location, I want you to write in your own words, in a complete sentence, where the Icelandic fault is. Please pause this recording if you need more time. The reason for this is hidden below the surface of the Atlantic. Iceland is actually an above sea level part of the mid-Atlantic ridge, an underwater mountain range that runs the length of the ocean. Particularly strong volcanism in the area allows this island to rise above the waves. The reason for this is hidden below the surface of the Atlantic. Iceland is actually an above sea level part of the mid-Atlantic region. The reason for this is hidden below the surface of the Atlantic. Iceland is actually an above sea level part of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, an underwater mountain range that runs the length of the ocean. Particularly strong volcanism in the area allows this island to rise above the waves. So why is it a mountain range and not just a deep gaping hole? Where plates diverge, a rift zone appears with fissures or deep cracks that open up as gaps in the rock. But as the rift opens up, magma or molten rock rises. It pushes up through the gap, causing a bulge at the center. When it is expelled as lava, magma can come up gradually or explosively as a volcanic eruption. Either way, when magma hits the cold waters of the ocean, it cools and forms new rock. The new rock builds up on the bulge, forming a mountain range called a mid-ocean ridge. This mountain range is the site of new sea floor forming. However, a rift valley can remain in the center of the ridge as the rock on either side pulls away. The fissures at Thingvellir have been filled The fissures at Thingvellir have been filled with pure fresh water from glaciers. The Silfar fissure has become a popular spot for experienced scuba divers. There, divers can explore some of the world's clearest waters. In some places, they can reach out and touch two different continental plates at the same time. Iceland has become a popular tourist spot for geologic fans. Iceland has become a popular tourism spot. A land of fire and ice, it offers views of a wide variety of Earth's processes, from volcanoes to glaciers, all on one small island. So that was a lot of information. So let's skip the statement for a minute and let's go to how this was formed. And we need to use three key terms. So the first thing that happens to cause this fault to form is the part where I want you to underline that the plates diverge. That's your first step. So the first step is that you have two plates and they diverge or they divide or they spread apart. One plate goes this way, one plate goes this way. So the first thing that you need to do, if you noticed, you have a key term. So I need you to write on your graphic organizer where it says define your three key terms. The first one is divergent plate boundary. And I need you to define it in your own words. Write a sentence about what a divergent plate boundary is. If you need more time, please pause this recording so you can do that. Next, on your graphic organizer, I need you to write the first step in the formation of this fault. You need to write it here. Remember that what's happening in the first step is that you have two plates that are diverging or they're spreading apart. They're dividing. If you need more time to write that sentence, please do that now. If you need more time to write where it says number 1 about how it's first started, please do that now. Write a complete sentence. So here is your second step in how this fault is formed. It is right here where it says rift zone appears with fissures or deep cracks that open up as gaps in the rock, but as the rift opens up, magma rises. This is your second step. So here's your second step right here. You have magma, this yellow stuff. You now have a crack or an opening because these ridges or these. So now you have your second step right here. So remember, your plates are dividing or spreading apart, and so you have a gap. And this magma, this yellow stuff, comes up out of that crack. So right here on number 2, I need you to write a sentence about the second step in the formation. That the fact that those plate boundaries separate or divide, and then magma comes up through the hole. If you need more time, please pause this recording now. So the next step is here where it says, when magma hits the cold waters of the ocean, it cools and forms new rock, making a mountain range. So this is your step number 3 in the formation of this fault. So here is number 3. So you notice the magma comes up through that hole, and as soon as it hits the water, it cools and makes a bulge. You notice the bulge? And so those are mountains. So again, the magma comes up through the hole because the plates are dividing or separating. The lava hits the ocean water, cools, creates a bulge, and eventually creates mountains. So on your graphic organizer, right here on number 3, you need to write in your own words a sentence or two about the step 3 of the formation of this fault. Remember that you're going to say something about how the magma comes up through that hole, hits the water, the ocean water, instantly cools, it makes a bulge, and that creates mountains. Please pause this recording if you need more time. Okay, we're on to step 4, which is right here, where a rift valley can remain in the center of the ridge as the rock on either side pulls away. So what this is saying basically is you have one plate boundary going this way, you have one plate, wait. So what this is saying is that you have one plate going this way and you have one plate going this way. That's step 1. Step 2 is that you have magma coming up through this hole right here because the plates are spreading apart. Step 3 is that as soon as that magma hits the ocean water, it cools instantly and makes bulges or mountains, and you can see that right here. That's step 3. So step 4, which is what you're doing right now, is that over time, these plates separate and they make this flat area right here, or this, we call it a rift valley. So that's step 4. So right here on number 4, you are going to write in your own words the formation of this fault. And basically what you're going to say is that over time, when these plate boundaries are separating, it creates mountains, but in between those mountains, it's a flat valley called a rift valley. If you need to know how to spell Rift Valley, it's spelled R-I-F-T Valley. Rift Valley. Please pause this recording if you need more time. Please pause this recording if you need more time. So the final step, step number 5, is right here where it says that it's filled with pure fresh water from glaciers. So this last step is right here where this rift valley gets filled up with fresh water that's melted from glaciers. So right here, in a complete sentence of your own words, you need to do the 5th step of the formation of this fault, which is basically that the Rift Valley is filled up with water from glaciers that have melted. If you need more time, please pause this recording so you can write down information. So for the key terms, there's lots of different words that you can use. You can use tectonic plates or fault, or you could use lava or magma. Any of those words would be appropriate. You just need to write in your own words what those words mean. Write it in a sentence so it makes sense. Please pause this recording if you need more time. So let's go back up to statement. So I need you to write Icelandic fault in that blank, and it says Icelandic fault was formed as a result of divergent plate boundaries, which means that the plates divide or spread apart. Magma comes up and cools and makes mountains and rift valleys. Please pause if you need to. So the last section is a written description of the appearance of what this is going to look like. So in the beginning it looks like, in the beginning it looked like. So you are going to write a sentence about what it looks like. I'm going to draw a picture and you're going to write it in words. So you're going to have 2 plates that are diverging or spreading apart. Remember, you have magma that comes up, and as soon as it hits that water, it creates mountains, little mountains. So I want you to write a sentence about that in words. If you need more time, please pause this recording. Then it changed and looked like. So remember, you have 2 plates and they're separating. And over time they get farther and farther apart. And over time with that magma coming up, it creates larger mountains, right? And it also causes there to be a rift valley that is larger than it was before. So here's your rift valley. I want you to describe that in words, that drawing. Please pause the recording if you need more time. Today it looks like, so remember you have 2 divergent plate boundaries. So one plate's going this way, one plate's going this way. You have the mountains still. And this rift valley is even larger now. Okay? because the plates are still separating and you're having magma come into this hole. As soon as it hits the water, it cools down, and then you have an even larger rift valley because these plates are separating. Also remember that this rift valley is also covered up with glacier melted ice. So please write that in your own words. Don't draw the picture, you're describing it in your own words. Please pause this recording if you need more time. So in the future it will look like. So in the future it's going to have an even larger rift valley because these plates over time are still separating. They're still going opposite directions. The magma is still coming up. The magma is still hitting water and cooling down and creating new land. It's creating this rift valley. The rift valley just is even larger than it is today. You also still have mountains here. Okay? And it still has, glacier that, and it still has glaciers that have melted and is over the rift valley. Please put that in words. Good job, guys. That's the end of this recording.